Is E3 now dead? Is it as irrelevant as this channel because we've never gained relevancy for the first place, but E3 is still more relevant than we are? I'm going to stop talking about this and talk more about E3, so let's get right into it. Boom. What's up, human beings? Welcome back to another Midweek Speak here on the Games Groceries channel, and we like to talk about these kind of video game discussions, and we like to get your feedback here on the channel. But, you know, if you wanted to answer some of these questions for Midweek Speak, definitely follow us on social media, Twitter at Gaming Groceries, or you can follow us on Instagram, Games and Groceries, all one word, or just find us on Facebook, that toxic wasteland of Facebook. Yes, we're on there, and it's as toxic as ever. Find us on Facebook there. Our question today is E3 becoming irrelevant to you? Now, there's a reason why I phrased the question like that, and it's not because, you know, is it relevant to you, a survey, but like really think about it. Is it more irrelevant to you more than it's becoming irrelevant to the mass public? And I think there's a lot to be said there.
Yeah, because everyone sees it different. Everyone watches it for a different reason. So it just depends on each person. But
that's just the thing, is that like it's more questioning the irrelevance to you, your personal tastes, and I think the argument really comes into play of Sony backing out of E3, and once Sony backs out, that's when people start to question, is it now irrelevant? It's not when Nintendo kind of backed out and did the Nintendo Direct of E3. Nobody really questioned that, but it's when Sony pulled out.
Yeah.
And I think it's really becoming this question because who has really won this gaming generation? Who's really won the console wars of this generation? What's that? Oh, this just in? Yeah, I got it. That's right. It's PlayStation. Woo! Congratulations. PlayStation, of course, has, hundreds of millions of units. Xbox has like gone really down the rails this generation. Nintendo has caught up to PlayStation, surprisingly. Don't know how they did that. I do. Yeah. Idiot, Adam. Yes. But PlayStation is, of course, the winners of this generation. A lot of people are PlayStation owners. If you're a gamer, you probably have a PlayStation, statistically speaking. So when Sony backs out of E3, a lot of PlayStation users, who are most of the mass public of gaming, besides PC users, that's where the question comes in. Is E3 becoming irrelevant? Because a lot of PlayStation people are asking this question. Me being an Xbox peasant doesn't question this because E3 is fine for me. Because, again, Xbox peasant. Go at 'em. But that's where the question really comes in. So we wanted to hear from you on social media, and we got some answers here, and we want to start with the first one, who was actually showcased at Kind of Funny Games E3 Showcase. He was actually the headliner, Nick DiPaolo, for his game Atoms Ascending, and he says, nope, love the big announcements. And of course you can argue maybe he's biased just because he was actually showcased at E3, but you can really tell that Nick DiPaolo has this deep love for gaming, for video games alike, and he really loves the experience of E3. And I just love the honesty he has about the video game world, but he loves the announcements. Can't argue about that.
I mean, I love the announcements at E3. That's half the reason I watch them. I love the big ones that go like, and you can get it tonight. It's just great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Like from Unravel 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our next answer comes from the musician behind Atoms Ascending. And he says, yes, unless Nick DiPaolo needs trailer music. It's fun being a part of it and getting exposure, but I'm not sure if I'd watch it otherwise. Which I can see that view too, that you're only going to watch it if you're being part of it or things like that, and getting the exposure is always good. But if it's, if it's not something you're interested in watching, then it's not really going to be relevant if you're not part of it.
And that's the thing. And I like how he says it, like, unless Nick DiPaolo has trailer music, because that's big projects, deadlines. We actually had Volt Supreme on the show. I'll probably link it up here. And one of the questions was, like, how do you feel about Nick DiPaolo, kind of putting you in these big situations? But yeah, like, unless he's getting the exposure, is it worth watching? Because it's like this week-long event. Do you have the time for that? But yeah, Good answer. Hopefully you don't have a big project coming up.
Yeah.
And our next answer comes from wait, what is this? Okay, let's just read this out. Slippery John Sausage has this to say: I only go to the Big Bill's Tennessee boat shows every year. E3 is all the electric gadgets, right? Kids these days need to get out of their houses and out on an airboat to taste that fresh nature. Gators up! And I agree with you, Slippery John. That is your real name. May I call you Slippery? But yes, I agree. I've been to Big Bill's Tennessee boat shows only once, though. There was too many gators there. I do prefer E3 with all the electric gadgets. But yeah, I would love for an airboat ride sometime. And hopefully I don't get eaten by a gator. Any thoughts on that answer?
Nope.
Cool. Gators up!
Our next answer comes from Commander Nikki, and she says, I get all my E3 info from podcasts, so I don't really care, I guess. I mean, I guess there'll still be games for PlayStation talked about, just not exclusives. And I agree. I didn't even really think of that when I heard PlayStation. I was like, all right, so nothing on PlayStation. But yeah, you'll still have game announcements that for games that will be on PlayStation. We just won't get any PlayStation exclusives or information on the next generation at all. That's all.
And that's the other thing. Like what you said, it's just not going to be at the E3 showcase. Of course, they're going to have the state of play.
Yeah.
And she gets all her E3 info from podcasts, probably from ya boy and ya girl here at Games and Groceries podcast. If you haven't listened to the podcast yet, definitely get on that. But we do an E3 episode every single year. But yeah, I think she's talking about like, she gets the highlights, just kind of like what Volts probably does, because it's a week-long event. And here on the East Coast, it happens during work hours. It's like a Tuesday through a Thursday, and they're all like while you're at work.
Yeah.
Like, how are you supposed to watch that? Unless, you're one of those people that can sneak onto your desk and stream it on YouTube, which I highly recommend you do.
No.
If you enjoy unemployment.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy unemployment. That's why I'm on this platform. And finally, we have an answer from Cito's Sweet Home, who has this to say. You would think they being, of course, Sony, would do an E3 given that their new system comes out this year. There has to be exclusives on deck for that. It hasn't become irrelevant to me, at least, because I watch it mostly for the indie titles that get promoted and Devolver Digital's show. And yeah, I completely agree that Devolver Digital show is absolutely fantastic. I love the production behind it. And I think it brings up a good point that, you watch it mostly for the indie titles that come out. We, of course, talked about Adam's Ascending. After I saw Adam's Ascending being showcased at E3, that's where I contacted Nick and I said, can you come on the show? We've built a good friendship because of that. We're officially bros now, me and Volts as well. But, E3, with indies, give a big platform for those who don't have the budget to do that.
Yeah. And I think it would be cool because we talked about like what other ways that E3 could go. And one of the ways I just thought of when we were reading through these is that it'd be really cool that even if they didn't go on the convention side, they could still stay a like announcement show and do just indies.
Yeah.
Or things like that. People who don't have the big YouTube platform to do these announcements. So mostly like indie titles to showcase their things and show it to the public and things like that. Like that would be really cool. And I think that's something that at least I don't know of another convention or show or event each year that happens. I don't know of anything like that.
That has that same kind of platform as E3 does.
Yeah.
There's definitely the indie places to go, but not in the same platform as E3 has it. But yeah, brings up a good point. And I don't think really Sony really cares about the publicity because they have the budget to like market it themselves. They don't really need E3. But I get your confusion. I was confused too. Why wouldn't you show it? But, there's Sony. They have the budget to market it themselves. They don't really need E3, whereas indie devs, they don't have that kind of budget. So, plus Devolver Digital, I mean, that's always a show I look forward to every single year.
No, thank you.
So, before we get into our final thoughts, we want to hear from you, the watcher, the viewer, the creeper, even though I'm on your phone right now, so I'm just kind of creeping on your devices right now. I hope you enjoy my face. I know, I don't have the best face to look at, but, we want to hear from you. Write it in the comments down below. What are your thoughts? Is E3 becoming irrelevant to you? And while you're doing that, while you're down there in the comment section, definitely give it a like. Definitely give it a share if you will like this episode so far. And if you haven't already, there's a couple more buttons you can press. Isn't it exciting? That subscribe button and a notification bell. Ding dong. So you can know when all these episodes come out. So definitely hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And we want to hear from you, of course. Write your thoughts in the comments down below. Is E3 becoming irrelevant to you personally? So that brings us to our final thoughts. Is E3 becoming irrelevant? And, the argument really stands that I don't think E3 is as needed as it used to be. Talking about irrelevancy, or is it dying? That's kind of another question, but I really don't think E3 is as needed as it was in 1995 when it first started, and video games didn't really have this mainstream kind of platform that it does right now. But that doesn't mean it's lost all hope or meaning in any sort of way.
Yeah, I don't think it's irrelevant to everyone at this point. Like we said, it's more possibly irrelevant to just PlayStation users, but even then, you're still a gamer. You still want to hear other new games coming out that are on all the systems.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's irrelevant. I do think that eventually, maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but very soon, it'll have to readjust what it is exactly and what type of show it is. But I don't think it's irrelevant just yet.
Yeah. And we talked about that on the podcast, like that a stagnant business will always fail, that E3 will die if it continues to be stagnant and never evolves. But here's the thing, once E3 evolves, we just need to accept that E3 is now just part of many different video game showcases, many different video game conventions. I think E3 did what it was supposed to do, which was put video games on the map. And now we have places like PAX, Gamescom, and of course, the greatest convention that's ever come to be, Long Island Retro Expo, which is August sometime.
8th and 9th?
Yeah.
I think it's the 8th and 9th.
So definitely check out that. The greatest retro expo ever.
Will be there.
Fight me. That just comes to say that, E3 is just now one of many. And I think it's just done its job. But once it does evolve to whatever it's supposed to be, like what you said, if it becomes an indie platform so that indie developers can get more light on their game, that's what's going to become. E3 will now become the indie platform. And I think Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, they all have the budget to do their own thing, but the indie devs, they still need some light on their games. Much like Adam's Ascending.
Yeah.
Wishlisted on Steam.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored. We're just really good friends.
Yeah.
So as I said before, definitely write your thoughts in the comments down below. Is E3 dying? Is it irrelevant? Or is it just irrelevant to you? Are you still excited about the announcements? What kind of conventions do you like to go to? Have you ever been to that Gator show that Slippery John was talking about? I want to know, but write it all in the comments down below. And some of your favorite memories from these conventions. So write all that and so much more in the comments down below. And again, definitely give it a like and a share. Really helps out the channel. And speaking about the channel, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. With all that said and done, we want to thank you for watching this episode of Midweek Speak. We've got a lot of plans in 2020 to really bring this channel into relevancy. Bleh. But we want to really bring a platform to entertain you and just to give you some, entertainment in the video game world. So those plans are coming into fruition in the next couple weeks. So get excited for that. Hitting that subscribe button helps. But with all that said and done, we'll see you in the next episode. Have a wonderful week.
Bye.